We are born into chaos, a world of desires, fears, and distractions. But we are not condemned to be its victims. We have power, the power to master ourselves. The ancients knew this. They forged a path through suffering, through uncertainty, through the storms of existence. They called it Stoicism. And today, we reclaim it. We are not born into this world weak. We are not destined to be slaves to our emotions, nor victims of the chaos around us. Deep within each of us, there is an untapped power, a fire waiting to be kindled. This fire is not given to us by luck, nor is it dependent on the whims of fate. It is something we must cultivate, shape, and protect. Most people live like leaves in the wind, blown in every direction by their emotions, by the opinions of others, by the ever-changing nature of the world. They allow outside forces to dictate their inner state, letting fear, anger, and uncertainty control their actions. But a person who truly understands their own strength does not waver. They remain firm, calm, and unmoved, like a mountain standing tall in the middle of a storm. You have seen it before. Some people face hardships with grace, while others crumble under pressure. The difference is not in the circumstances, but in the mindset. A Stoic does not give their power away to external events. They do not beg for the world to be fair, nor do they curse the difficulties they face. Instead, they recognize one simple truth. You are not in control of everything that happens, but you are always in control of how you respond. Think about this. Two people can go through the same hardship, but one emerges stronger while the other is destroyed. What separates them? It is the way they perceive the situation. One sees misfortune and despair, while the other sees an opportunity to test their will and grow. The way we interpret life determines whether we remain trapped or rise above. It is easy to blame the world, to point fingers at bad luck, betrayal, or injustice. But true power comes from taking full responsibility for ourselves. No one can take away your ability to think, to adapt, to endure. No event, no insult, no failure can touch the core of who you are, unless you allow it to. Your mind is your kingdom, your fortress. Build it strong. Do not let the noise of the world penetrate your walls. Stand firm in your decisions, master your emotions, and light the fire within. Because once that fire burns bright, nothing in this world can extinguish it. Most people spend their lives fighting battles they can never win. They stress over the opinions of others, agonize over outcomes they can't change, and waste their energy trying to control the uncontrollable. This is why they suffer, not because of what happens to them, but because they resist what is beyond their power. A wise person understands that life is divided into two categories: things we can control and things we cannot. This is the foundation of inner peace. What can we control? Our thoughts, our choices, our actions. These belong to us, alone. No one can force you to be angry, to be afraid, or to act against your principles. Those reactions come from within, and they are yours to command. And then, there is everything else: the actions of others, the past, the weather, luck, the rise and fall of nations, the uncertainty of the future. These are beyond your grasp. No amount of worry, frustrations, or resistance will change them. Trying to control them is like trying to hold back the ocean with your hands. This is where most people go wrong. They fight against reality. They complain, they blame, they rage at the unfairness of life. But no amount of anger has ever stopped a storm. No amount of regret has ever changed the past. The world moves on, indifferent to our protests. The solution is simple. Focus only on what you can control and release everything else. Imagine carrying two bags, one filled with things you can influence, and the other weighed down by things beyond your power. The second bag is heavy, exhausting, and endless. Yet, most people cling to it, dragging it through life, refusing to let go. But what happens when you drop it? Freedom. Your energy is no longer wasted on things outside your reach. Your mind is no longer tormented by what ifs. Instead, you become sharp, focused, and untouchable. The person who masters this rule becomes unshaken by life's storms. They do not beg for people to change. They do not curse fate when misfortune strikes. Instead, they turn inward and ask, "What is in my control?" Then they act, without fear, without hesitation, without regret. This is how we rise above, not by controlling the world, but by mastering ourselves. Emotions can be powerful allies or ruthless enemies. When controlled, they give us strength. When left unchecked, they consume us. Most people are ruled by their emotions. They explode with anger at insults, drown in sorrow when things don't go their way, and let fear stop them from taking action. Instead of directing their emotions, they are enslaved by them, like a ship tossed helplessly in a storm. But emotions do not appear out of nowhere. They are not forces beyond our control. They come from within, shaped by how we interpret the world. You do not feel anger because someone insulted you. You feel anger because you decided that the insult mattered. You do not feel fear because of uncertainty. You feel fear because you have convinced yourself that uncertainty is dangerous. Emotions are not commands. They are suggestions. You do not have to obey them. A person who understands this does not allow anger to cloud their judgment, nor fear to make them weak. When an emotion rises, they pause. They ask, "Is this emotion serving me, or is it controlling me?" Most people act on impulse. They let their emotions drag them wherever they please. They say things in anger that they later regret. They hesitate in fear and miss opportunities. They drown in sadness over things that cannot be changed. But the Stoic trains their mind to remain calm. They step back. They observe the emotion without becoming the emotion. Someone insults you. Do you react with rage, or do you remain unmoved? Someone betrays you. Do you collapse into despair, or do you accept it as part of life? Fear whispers that you are not good enough. Do you listen, or do you move forward despite it? There is no strength in being ruled by emotions. There is no wisdom in reacting without thought. The real power lies in mastering yourself. This does not mean emotions should be ignored. It means they should be understood and controlled. Anger can be transformed into discipline. Fear can be turned into caution. Sadness can teach wisdom, but only if you are in charge. A person who controls their emotions cannot be manipulated. They cannot be broken. They remain steady, no matter what happens around them. This is the path to true power. This is the path to freedom. Most people see hardship as something to be feared, something to escape from. They curse bad luck, complain about their struggles, and wish for an easier life. But this is the mindset of someone who has not yet discovered their own strength. A person who seeks true mastery of life does not run from difficulty. They embrace it. They do not see obstacles as punishments, but as opportunities to grow. Every hardship is a test, a chance to sharpen the mind, strengthen the will, and prove what they are capable of. Imagine a fire. Throw weak wood into it, and it burns out quickly. But throw strong wood into it, and the fire grows bigger, hotter, stronger. This is how we must approach life. Challenges do not destroy us unless we allow them to. Instead, they fuel us, making us sharper, tougher, and more unbreakable. When misfortune strikes, the average person asks, "Why me?" The wise person asks, How can I use this? A betrayal, a failure, a loss. These are not tragedies. They are lessons. They are raw material for growth. If we learn to see them this way, nothing in life can truly harm us. Every pain, every setback, every obstacle simply becomes another step on the path forward. It is easy to accept life when things go well. The real test is whether we can accept it when things go wrong. Can we look at misfortune and say, "This too is part of my journey"? Can we face suffering and say, "Good, this will make me stronger"? There is no use resisting what has already happened. The past cannot be changed. The world does not bend to our desires. But we always have a choice: to resent our struggles or to embrace them. When we stop fighting reality, we become unstoppable. We do not waste time wishing for things to be different. We do not cry over what is lost. We take what life gives us, good or bad, and we make use of it. A person who loves their fate cannot be broken. They do not beg for an easier path. They become strong enough to walk the one they have been given. This is the path of true power. This is the way forward. Most people live as if they have endless time. They waste their days in distractions, in hesitation, in chasing things that do not matter. They put off their dreams, their purpose, their true potential, thinking they will always have more time. But the truth is simple. Death is always near. It is not something to fear, nor something to avoid thinking about. It is a reminder, one that should wake us up. Every second that passes is a second we will never get back. Every moment wasted is a moment lost forever. Those who forget death live carelessly. They argue over petty things. They delay their ambitions. They let fear hold them back. But those who remember death, who truly understand its presence, live differently. They act with urgency. They make every decision count. They do not wait for someday to live the life they want. They live now. Think about this. If today were your last day, how would you live? Would you still waste time worrying about what others think? Would you still hesitate to take action? Would you still complain about minor inconveniences? Or would you finally speak your truth, pursue your purpose, and do what truly matters? Every sunrise is a gift, but one day, there will be no more sunrises for you. One day, the clock will stop, and you will not know when that day comes. This is not something to fear. This is something to use. When you accept that your time is limited, you gain power. You stop procrastinating. You stop being ruled by fear. You stop living for the approval of others. You start living for yourself. Most people die filled with regret, not because they lived too little, but because they lived without direction. Do not let that be you. Do not wait for life to slip away before you realize what is important. Live fully, not tomorrow, not next year, now. Speak the words you need to say. Pursue the goals you have delayed. Strengthen your mind. Build your character and become the person you were meant to be. Because death is watching, and it is asking you one thing: did you truly live? Inside each of us, there is a fire, a red flame that burns with strength, willpower, and purpose. Some let this fire grow, using it to shape their lives with discipline and clarity. Others allow it to fade, smothered by fear, comfort, and distraction. The world will try to weaken you. It will throw hardship your way, test your patience, and try to break your spirit. But the fire inside you, that is yours to control. You are not like the rest. You do not seek the easy path. You do not wish for a life free from struggle. You understand that difficulty is the forge that strengthens the soul, and you embrace it. Every obstacle, every loss, every failure is fuel for your fire, making you more resilient, more disciplined, more unstoppable. Most people drift through life without direction, letting the tides of chance push them wherever they may go. But not you. You stand firm. You know that true power is not in controlling the outside world, but in mastering yourself. You do not waste time chasing approval, dwelling on the past, or fearing the future. Your focus is here, now. Look around. How many people live half asleep, stuck in cycles of regret and hesitation? How many waste their lives on things that do not matter? How many will reach the end, only to realize they never truly lived? You will not be one of them. Your mind is a fortress. Your will is unshaken. No failure defines you. No hardship breaks you. No opinion sways you. You own yourself. And because of that, nothing in this world can conquer you. If there is doubt in your heart, burn it away. If there is fear, let it fuel you. If there is pain, turn it into strength. You are not weak. You are not lost. You are fire, and fire cannot be stopped. This is the way forward. Not comfort, not ease, but the relentless pursuit of self-mastery. So rise, strengthen your mind, sharpen your discipline, light the fire within, and never let it go out.